What's up YouTube? Capital G here. Got a couple of quick and entertaining duels for you guys to check out. I guarantee you won't know where this first duel is going, especially by these opening hands. So looks like we got some pendulums up at the top. This is probably a dragon shrine to send Darkworm to the graveyard because that's the only card that I really see used in conjunction with Dragon Shrine. But the deck we're going to focus on is this really interesting weird zombie vampire build at the bottom. I'll show you guys the deck list after the couple of duels, but yeah, this deck is actually going to do some very interesting stuff. So usually Unizombie, when you have it in your opening hand, it is your normal summon because it can set you up. Now, he's not going to go for something like Mizuki, instead going to go with the Vampire Engine. Very interesting. Vampire Familiar obviously is a card that can get you a Surge. Going to get those two vampires on the field. Not done yet, doing a little bit of level modification, and that's so he can summon the Mannequin Cat. This card has always been a dirt card in my opinion, but I still wasn't really sure. I was like, where exactly is this going? How exactly does Monster Reborn and Mithra tie into this? But check out this cheese. He's gonna summon Mithra, which of course forces a token onto your opponent's side of the field, and that is going to trigger the Mannequin Cat. Now, since a light monster was summoned to his opponent's side of the field, he can summon any light or thunder monster from his deck, and guess what he's going to pull from the deck? He's gonna pull out the Waldo, or Zawaldo, as Dio would say, and this means that he has 50% chance of skipping his opponent's turn. I'm not gonna lie, I have seen many Worldo combos on this channel, or I have seen many in duels, and a lot of them have appeared on my channel, but I don't think I've ever seen someone summon the Worldo from the deck. So now, if he does happen to get heads, which luckily he does, he can distribute a couple of monsters and skip his opponent's entire turn, summoning Zawaldo from the deck. Now, if it wasn't bad enough, he's also got a Monster Reborn, the Archlord Christia, which I think actually, I'm not sure if that was necessary. I mean, your opponent can't do anything. They don't even get a turn, so I'm not sure Christian was like even necessary, but he went ahead and did it anyways. He's gonna summon some monsters in main phase 2, not quite enough damage to end the game, but he's going to activate the Worldo one more time, skip his opponent's entire turn, and then simply go into battle phase once again, and that will be the end. Yeah, the Christia was honestly just completely unnecessary. I mean, definitely a legitimate beater, helps you end the game and close the game out. I guess, I don't know, maybe if you want to play around Gores or something for like the one guy in Yu-Gi-Oh! Still playing Gores. Anyway, second duel, Necros versus Blue Eyes Invoked. Everybody's been putting Alistair into everything, so why not put it into Blue Eyes? I guess that could work. Anyways, Necros are going first, and I don't know about Necros going first. I mean, I guess, like, I don't know. I mean, I guess it kind of depends. Do you want to play against a well-established board? But, I don't know. I think Necros is more of a Ghost Second type deck. He's luckily able to get the Necros of Unicorn on the field, which is one of the more important cards in Necros. The deck needs multiple copies of this, Konami. Like, come on. It's time. Give Necros at least one copy of Unicorn back, because Unicorn is at, what, 1 right now? Definitely should be at 2. Also, put Shuret at 3. That'll definitely help Necros in their grind game. He's going to go with the alternative dragon. Gungnir is going to protect it, but he is going to push on. Even though those extra deck monsters cannot activate their effects, they still have the ability to, you know, battle and attack and do all that good stuff. He's going to go for his copy of Cyber Dragon Infinity, also invoked Merkaba, but he's not going to take the challenge of attacking the Unicorn. I thought that that was interesting. I guess, I don't know if he was afraid of the Decisive Armor, which actually is in his hand, or maybe he just didn't think the attacks were going to go through because he was going to use like Valkyries. But yeah, I think I would have attacked this, and if my opponent used Decisive Armor, I think I would have chained the Alistair in my hand. Anyways, because he didn't go for the risk, he is definitely going to be punished, as his opponent is going to summon that Necros of Brionic and bounce both the Cyber Dragon Infinity and the Invoked Merkaba. So now he's in good position, although it's going to get even better after the Trishula. He's able to attack, use decisive armor, and almost in the game. Oh, Necros, if you only had the Gen Lock, you'd be in really good position right now. He's going to go Chaos Dragon 11 here, summon Nova back from the graveyard. I thought he was going to go into Infinity here, but he's actually not. Just going to go for Merkaba, and he is going to use that Alistair in the battle phase, and that's going to get over the copy. Actually, no, he didn't. He just attacked over the Unicorn. Didn't even need it. I think now is when he's going to use it. So Alistair is used, Called by the Grave is chained, and he's going to activate another Alistair to resolve it and just gain the attack before the Call by the Grave is resolved. So at least he'll get a little bit of damage, and he'll be able to clear his opponent's monsters. He tries to bounce, but nope, he's going to negate that with the Invoke Merkaba, and it pretty much looks like the end of this duel, although the game still is not going to be doing pretty much anything because he has no monsters until he gets the perfect top deck. Super Polymerization answers his prayers. This means he can super poly because his opponent, while he doesn't have monsters of the same attribute or I guess even type, he does happen to have a fusion monster on the field. People do not leave home without your Predaplant Dragostapelia. This card is really good, and if you're playing against a fusion-based archetype, your opponent probably going to have a fusion monster on the field. You can use this card against like Shadows because all their monsters, well, the big monsters are fusions, plus they have a lot of dark monsters because of the Shadows. And you can use this against like Pendulums and stuff like that. If they happen to summon Vortex Dragon, like a lot of the other Pendulum monsters they summon, Dark Worm, Mythical Beast monsters, Mighty Master, and Endymion, they're all dark attribute monsters. So he is going to basically be able to super poly into that, and that is exactly game. 2,700 life points left, and this guy just happens to be 2,700 attack. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed the short duels. Actually, you know what? Let's pause. I gotta show you guys the deck. Okay, so this is what the deck looks like on paper, and wow, this is way more vampire based than I would have ever imagined. I mean, we obviously saw some of the cards like Vampire Familiar and some of the other vampire stuff. Frowlin, I believe, was in the duel, but yeah, this is legitimately a vampire deck with Zawaldo essentially on the side. That's the reason that Mithra is in here. Obviously, you can do level manipulation with your Unizon. And I mean, your power card is basically like your Vampire Familiar. This is the card that searches. You also run 1-for-1, and it's fairly easy. As we saw, even though you only have like like one level 2 or a couple level 2s in the deck, it's fairly easy to get to the rank 2s by just doing a little bit of level modification using your Unizombie. Add a level to your Vampire Familiar, and then you can use that plus Retrainer, and then you can go for your Mannequin Cat and do all that other stuff. But I guess essentially if you don't have access to Mithra, you're basically just playing like pure vampires, and then you do have access to things like Archlord Christia. You can discard Archlord Christia with 1-for-1. You can discard it with the effect of Unizombie, and then maybe you get lucky. You can Monster Reborn it. So you could even use something like Foolish Burial in the Monster Reborn. It still works because this card obviously is super strong and basically a win condition. I always thought that the Vampire Counter Trap, like this card is super strong. I mean, it basically is just it's Infernity Barrier for the Vampire archetype. It just requires you to have a Vampire on field, and this card is searchable, if I'm not mistaken, by Vampire Familiar. Add one Vampire monster. Oh no, maybe I'm mistaken. I thought I could have swore there was a way to search this. Maybe it's one of the other Vampire cards that I'm just not thinking about right now. But this card has always been amazing, because not only does it negate monster spells and then also trap cards, but you also have potential of gaining life points, which maybe not that relevant in this deck because it's not like you're playing any counter traps, but I always think gaining life points is super good. But yeah, definitely an interesting deck, and if you guys are interested in playing it, of course, it will be in the description below.